You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. Much of the country celebrated Veterans Day yesterday. Our very own Samantha Walker shares the story of a local veteran whose service occurred during World War II.
Also, the Salvation Army in Jasper and Newton County is opening its doors this Thanksgiving with a free meal for anyone who needs one.
And we've got some patchy fog out there this morning. Otherwise, it looks about like this. However, clouds increasing later today. A look at that forecast to get you out the door is coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. now on this Tuesday, November the 12th.
Yes.
And we've got a pretty good morning show lined up for you. We've got the Cecil Floyd Craft Fair folks are here.
Fun.
That's where I went as a kid. My mom, every year, we went to the craft show. Like I wanted to go back to school for the weekend. But it's impressive the work they do. There's something to talk about. Of course, Charlene Patton will be here with some incredible food for us to keep us healthy. I'm not following her guidelines, but I'm trying, okay? And of course, yesterday, Veterans Day in the 4 states.
Well, less than 1% of the 16.4 million Americans who served during World War II are still with us today. 97-year-old Chester Hobbs of Anderson, Missouri is one of them.
KOAM Samantha Walker had the honor to sit down with the veteran to learn more about his years of service.
You feel like there's something wrong somewhere, but you didn't know where.
At 97 years old, Chester Hobbs is a proud, lifelong resident of McDonald County. But in 1945, at 18 years old, he, like many of his generation, answered the call to join the fight in World War II.
They all needed help around. They were taking all the old men with babies and families. And I thought a young man should get in there and help.
For 3 years, he served in the army in Italy, eventually becoming a corporal. During this time, he was part of Patton's 5th Army and worked as a medic, military police, and a tank driver.
They were needing tank drivers, so they selected me because I had drove a Caterpillar. So they gave me my license and away I went.
For his service, Corporal Hobbs received several honors, including a Presidential Unit Citation and an Army of Occupation Medal. He says a highlight from his time of service was getting the opportunity to meet future President General Dwight D. Eisenhower and represent McDonald County.
Asked where I was from, and I told him. He said, that's down in the country where I live. It's close to Camp Crowder. So he was really familiar with the place, with this part of the country.
While Corporal Hobbs returned from Italy at the end of the war, he says he felt like he couldn't quite celebrate, as his brother was still fighting in the Pacific.
They were still doing pretty good fighting over there.
When his brother was able to return, then his family felt as though they could celebrate a victory.
Before, everyone was nervous and excited about, and they should have been, because it was getting pretty close to the United States.
And he says no matter where he's traveled, McDonald County will always be his favorite place.
I love it here. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Following the war, Corporal Hobbs says he had a series of jobs related to agriculture, and he even continued his life of service by working as Chief Deputy for the McDonald County Sheriff's Department. Looking back on World War II, he has chosen not to remember many of his experiences from that time, but he says one thing he does remember is how united the country truly was.
They really got together back in the 40s, more so than I've ever seen the country get together.
And he believes we can unite like that again.
I hope so. I just dearly hope so.
Reporting in Anderson, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, earlier this year, Corporal Hobbs received a resolution from the Missouri House of Representatives in honor of his service.
State Representative Dirk Deaton presented it to him at his home. He received it while surrounded by dozens of his family members, certainly well-deserving, and just incredible stories from that era.
Absolutely.
And we've got, we got a bit of a foggy start for some out there this morning. Not too bad, but nonetheless, you still want to be cautious. Quick look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, and we've got the sun rising, a few clouds. Looks great out there. Pittsburgh was reporting some fog earlier, but we didn't ever actually see any on the downtown Pittsburgh camera. In fact, still reporting some reduced visibilities in Pittsburgh, but as you can see, we're not seeing anything overly dense in the city, but still, you need to be cautious out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin. You can see we still have a few clouds here and there as well, and that's how our morning will be, is mostly clear. And then clouds will increase as we head into the afternoon. Quick check at the fog tracker. The same boundary it's been with us all morning. From Iola to Pittsburgh, in between Carthage and Joplin, Mount Vernon, Cassville. So this does include parts of I-44, US 60, 69, 54. Slow down, low beams, not your high beams. And, remember, it's better to be a few minutes late than not arrive at all. So be cautious. Mostly clear through the morning. Then, similar to yesterday, by noon, we're about partly cloudy. The clouds will begin increasing this afternoon. Unsimilar to yesterday, I've got this, clouds will continue to increase. So by the late afternoon, we're going mostly cloudy. And then as we go into the evening hours and overnight, we're just straight up cloudy out there. So we'll have to contend with cloudy skies ahead of our increasing rain chances. See, 47 in Joplin right now, 45 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region. The closest to normal we've got is our northern counties, where we've got some low 40s. The rest of us above normal, mid and upper 40s. Highs today, well above average as well, as we go upper 60s, low 70s, and there's those clouds just continuing to increase as we head into the evening, and it'll be breezy. Southeast winds gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. The winds continue tonight, of course, so do the clouds and above normal temperatures. Rain chances increasing tomorrow morning. Got a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the Joplin City Council met last night with a number of items on the agenda, including a possible plan to revitalize the city's Memorial Hall building. Ideas for revitalization include making the building a hub for concerts, community events, and private gatherings. The draw of the revitalization effort could potentially draw audiences from across our region. These efforts would also preserve Memorial Hall as a historic landmark.
Well, today I will speak about the significance of Memorial Hall, and the goal is to encourage Joplin City Council to forego any decision making that could have a negative impact on the future of the current Memorial Hall building.
Also on the agenda, an ordinance seeking to approve a consulting firm to provide evaluation, planning, and implementation services, as well as the feasibility of a regional transportation authority for the city of Joplin's transit system. Well, Pittsburgh State University held its annual Veterans Day ceremony at the PSU Veterans Memorial. The event featured keynote speaker Major Callie Wheeler Beecraft, who commissioned from ROTC at Pittsburgh State as a distinguished military graduate in 2012. Veterans for whom pavers have been installed were recognized, and St. Mary's Colgan Choir also performed.
Connection to veterans is long-standing. Certainly, we have many students who have come to school on the GI Bill, certainly, and have served their country proudly over the course of time from the very beginning of the university. And so we feel that we need to honor them because they provide the protections that have allowed us to remain free.
Local sixth graders from Pittsburgh Community Middle School and St. Mary's Colgan attended the event as a civics lesson. The expensive Thanksgiving shopping can be a strain on people, especially people experiencing food insecurity. The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County is offering free Thanksgiving meals on Thanksgiving Day to anyone in the community. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Kimberly Dunning frequents the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County and says there are days she doesn't know where her next meal will come from.
If it wasn't for this place, there was days that I wouldn't have ate.
And she says for many people, Thanksgiving Day is no different.
The people with all the kids, how are they feeding them? You know, how are they doing anything fun with the price of food nowadays?
The Salvation Army's goal is to help those experiencing food insecurity. To help those in need, the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County will be providing a free Thanksgiving meal.
Have roll, have turkey, you have a pie, you gotta have the dessert for your Thanksgiving meal.
And they plan to serve the meal family style, so attendees can socialize if they don't have a family to celebrate with.
You just come in, you sit down with your neighbors and you talk.
According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, last year, the average cost of a Thanksgiving meal for a family of 10 was $61.17, a cost not everyone can afford.
You know, when you're preparing a meal for not just the people who you usually have, but you have family coming over maybe for Thanksgiving, you know, that increases the cost.
Right now, it's just with the price of food being so high, it's making it harder. Things when you would go to the food store and spend a couple years ago maybe $100, you are now spending $200, maybe $250 of what that same grocery cart used to be.
The Salvation Army will provide meals from noon to 1 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
It's going to keep our spirits up, you know. Think about not having a Thanksgiving meal, oh, you're just out there walking around homeless, or you got somewhere to go and people to talk to and feel like it's a real holiday.
A holiday dinner everyone is invited to. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County is accepting volunteers to help prep, serve, and deliver meals on Thanksgiving Day. Now, for a list of places to get a free Thanksgiving meal, you can visit the events page on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Cecil Floyd's Elementary's biggest fundraiser is set for this weekend. We'll hear how attending the craft show benefits students. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of the Hudson Bridge for Historical Bridge Awareness Month. The 33rd annual Cecil Floyd Elementary Craft Show is happening this Saturday. Renner Ruiz and Kelsey Robinson, organizers of the craft show, are with us this morning to share how all the proceeds help benefit the students. Well, good morning to you both.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. So talk to me about, for those who might not know, about this craft show and kind of the history behind it as well.
So this is our 33rd year for having our annual craft show. The proceeds that we raise go straight back into our school for Cecil Floyd. It's the only fundraiser that the school has to do just because we've got such a huge turnout.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's great. It helps. I mean, I'm sure parents enjoy it because they don't have to do fundraising throughout the year. And so it's been really beneficial for us.
Absolutely. And talk to me about, because this is the only fundraiser that you have during the year, what do all these funds go towards throughout the year for the students?
Yeah, we do. Like you said, this is the only one fundraiser that we do, and all of our money goes directly back to the school. So we are able to send kids on field trips. We help sponsor quarterly parties that are for rewards for positive behavior. We've been able to send some teachers on some out-of-state trips for further training. A couple years ago, we were able to purchase iPads for the students, so they weren't having to share as much in the classrooms, and do some playground improvements. So all of it really is going back to benefiting our students and our teachers.
Fantastic. And talk to me about some of the items that will be up for sale and some of the vendors that will be on display as well.
So everything is handmade. It's all handmade crafts. We don't take anything that's direct sales or anything like that. It's got to be strictly homemade. They've got everything from seasonal decor to just your regular home decor.
Yes.
There's ornaments and shirts and cups and all those things. I mean, anything handmade you can find there.
Yeah. Fantastic. And there's a cost to attend the event, though. How much is that? And is it at the door? Do people purchase tickets?
Yes, so at the door it is, our early birds start at 8 a.m. It's a $10 cash donation, and then at 9 a.m. is our regular admission, and it is a $3 cash donation. And then we have concession stands that is also cash, cinnamon rolls, drinks, and then the vendors, they all take like cards and cash.
Yeah, sure. And so this is Saturday, and it starts at 9 a.m. As you mentioned, there is an early bird. How long does the event run till?
We are there from 8 to 4.
8 to 4. Fantastic. And if people want to find more information about the event, where can they do so?
You can find it at our Facebook page. It's Cecil Floyd Craft Show. And then also you can email us at cecilfloydcraftshow@hotmail.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us
Thank you
this
for having
morning.
us.
Good luck on the event. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Of course. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:19 now on this Tuesday morning here in the 4 states. We're taking a live look first from the the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue. If you look just above the banner, you can see we still have some of that patchy fog out there, and here's what it looks like on the fog tracker. Still along that same boundary from Iola, Girard, Pittsburgh, in between Joplin and Carthage, back down toward Mount Vernon and Cassville and Monette as well. So again, low beams, not your high beams. Drive slowly. Make sure you have time to get where you're going. And remember, it is better to be a few minutes late than not arrive at all. This fog, though, will be burning off in, say, about the next hour or two across the region, and then we'll be left with mostly clear skies to start our day before clouds begin to increase into the afternoon. By noon, partly cloudy skies, southeast winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour. But as we head into the mid-afternoon and late afternoon hours, we start to go mostly cloudy, and then by about 5, 6 o'clock, we are just straight up cloudy. Now, clouds do a couple of things for us, or at least they do one big thing for us, is we're going to be warm today. We're going to be above normal. We're going upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s. Clouds will thicken up right as we're reaching kind of that peak heating for today. Because of that, we've talked about how the clouds act as a bit of a thermal blanket. That will keep our lows tonight well above normal. We should be in the upper 30s. We're going to go upper 40s and many of us into the low 50s because the clouds will trap some of that warmer air. By about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, Yates Center, Fredonia, and Bartlesville, Howard, Sedan points west, showers and thunderstorms begin rolling in. They'll be scattered, but nonetheless, some of us will start seeing rain. Now, the one big change from yesterday is we're looking at a little bit better rain chances across the region as we head into our Wednesday morning, which is great. Because if you remember 24 hours ago, rain chances were looking pretty isolated. They're looking a lot better this morning, which is good news. The other good news is we're still not looking at a severe threat. By 5, Chanute, just outside of Parsons, down to Coffeyville, the showers and storms pushing off to the east. By 8 o'clock, they're now along and to the east of the 69 corridor, right along the I-49 corridor, stretching all the way over into Stockton, with a few scattered showers and storms still possible across southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma. By 10 a.m., the bulk of the activity is now shifted to the Missouri side. Still some lingering showers, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, maybe down toward Grove. And then by noon, this is the one thing that hasn't changed from yesterday. By about noon, most of this on its way out. By 1, 2 o'clock, we're starting to dry out, maybe a stray shower here or there. And then later Wednesday evening will eventually, late night Wednesday into Thursday, start to have some clearing take place ahead of a very textbook fall day for us on our Thursday. Right now in Joplin, take a look. Clear skies out there. Looks fantastic. There's a stray cloud here, and it's kind of up behind this banner. 47. Wind is variable at about 3 miles an hour. It will not last, but it'll start to pick up. We're in the low 40s to the north, so close to normal. And then the further south you go, the warmer it is, mid-upper 40s out there. Patchy fog continuing through about 8, maybe 9 at the latest. Mostly clear through the morning. Low 60s by 11 o'clock. Highs today again, upper 60s, low 70s. Seasonable tomorrow, which also means seasonable lows into the upper 30s. That's where they should be. Cold, but where they should be. Warmer Friday and Saturday ahead of more rain chances heading into next week. And then an Arctic air mass, not significant, but still enough to bring us below normal by the middle of next week. Lows into the upper 20s and low 30s. Highs upper 40s and low 50s, so pretty cold and well below average next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission is with us this morning, and she'll be sharing with us the recipe for this soy maple spread that went along with last week's soybean sweetbread.
That's right.
Good morning to you,
Good morning.
Yes.
This particular recipe, as you said, is another winner. We might say who won this again.
It was the first place in the dessert category for Margaret Miller out of Burdett, Kansas. So a fantastic recipe today.
And she used so many soy ingredients in that bread. And she's using another soy ingredient that I think will probably surprise people for this topping. And that is tofu.
Yes.
And we had a recipe earlier in the year that was a tofu frosting. It was like a mousse and was chocolate. It was delicious. So you can go to our website and find it. But it's kind of a surprising ingredient to have for a topping.
Great binder.
That's right. So I'm just going to put this in our food processor here.
Okay.
And like I said, it's the firm tofu. I'm just going to break that up. And if there's some water that comes off of that, just drain it off, because that is part of the process. Then I'm going to let you add some of the other ingredients too. We have 2 tablespoons of whipping cream there. That's heavy whipping cream. Going to add a lot of richness.
Yes.
And then I have 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup.
Okay.
And then you have some cinnamon spice there. That is pumpkin pie spice.
Oh, how delicious.
And then a little bit of salt.
Okay, just a little bit in there. There
And
we go.
all we're going to do is put our lid on there and then just mix this.
Yes.
And you'll want to do it a couple of times
Okay.
so it's nice and creamy. And then you want to even maybe use your scraper to scrape down the sides to it. There we go. I'll just scrape that down a little bit there, but you can
Nice
see
and smooth.
how nice and creamy that is. The whipped cream that we added in there is going to add some extra really richness to it. There we go.
And that pumpkin and cinnamon spice is very delicious.
And you can see here we have it in a bowl. Put that in the center of your bread and then just let people spread it on each of the pieces of the bread.
There you
Makes
go.
a delicious gift for the holidays or for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And Charlene, if people want to find the recipe for the bread or for this spread, where can they do so?
They should go to our website at kansassoybeans.org. You can call our 800 number 877-KS Soybean, and we'll mail you all the recipes for November.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Charlene. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Noe. Volunteers made their way to the Peace Church Cemetery in Joplin to commemorate a flag presentation. The event, arranged by the American Legion Post 13 and the Joplin High School JROTC Color Guard, conducted a presentation of the American flag as well as decorated the graves of the veterans buried at the cemetery. Veterans from the Civil War, Spanish-American War, World Wars I and II, and Korea were honored at the event.
From our perspective, we do military honors at funerals. We've done 65 funerals so far this year. And it's something that we believe every veteran deserves to be recognized for his service, whether he was in combat or not.
People can pay their respects at the Peace Church Cemetery any day from dawn to dusk. The gravestone decorations will remain in the cemetery for several days. The Peoria Tribe of Indians of Oklahoma held their 4th annual Veterans Gourd Dance. The event took place at the Ottawa Peoria Cultural Center, and family, friends, and community members from diverse backgrounds came together through music, dance, and shared respect for current and past veterans. Dancers wore colorful gowns representing various tribes.
We were citizens of the United States. We fought in the First World War, Second and Third, Korea, and all branches of the service. So American Indians, by and large, are one of the most patriotic people in this United States.
The event also underscored the service and sacrifice of American Indians. Well, dogs are man's best friend, and for veterans, they can be a life-saving friend. The Department of Veterans Affairs says 7% of veterans will experience PTSD, and for those who served in conflicts this century, that number is 15%. Now, Dogs for Valor is a Kansas-based organization that trains dogs to help manage their owner's symptoms like depression and anxiety. The group can also find a service dog for a veteran or first responder in need. Many vets first come to the program on edge and afraid to be in public spaces.
A lot of times the veteran with severe PTSD is, homebound. They're isolated, they're very nervous, they won't make eye contact, some won't leave the house at all. And by the end of the service dog program, they're coming out with their dogs.
The training program lasts for 6 to 9 months, but many veterans continue to attend group gatherings. And some vets say their family relationships have also improved since working with Dogs for Valor. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We're going to start with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Got mostly clear skies out there, but we do have a few clouds, and we still have some patchy fog, but nothing visible on the cameras around the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, there's one of those stray clouds right up there above the banner. Otherwise, again, at least for now, the mostly clear skies. Fog still along roughly that same boundary. Iola to Pittsburgh, in between Carthage and Joplin, down toward Monette, Mount Vernon, and Cassville. So like we've been saying all morning, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them, and slow down. Give plenty of distance between you and the car ahead of you. And remember, it's better to be a few minutes late than not arrive at all. All right, into the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies by noon. Southeast winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour. Clouds thicken up quickly, though. By mid-afternoon, late afternoon, we are mostly cloudy across the area, and then we are just plain cloudy as we head late into the evening and into the overnight hours. And those clouds will also keep us a bit warmer tonight as well. We're at 47 in Joplin, 45 in Pittsburgh right now, and across the region. Up north, again, a little cooler, a little closer to normal. As we're in the low 40s, we should be about 39. But further south, we are warming up, mid and upper 40s out there as we get our Tuesday underway. We'll eventually make highs upper 60s, low 70s, and again, clouds increasing as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours. It'll remain breezy tonight as well, and we also have our increasing rain chances tomorrow morning. Details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A mother and son are reunited after being apart for 37 years, and now they're running a bakery together. I'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of the Hudson Bridge located in Cherokee County, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, some changing market forces and a different seasonal holiday calendar are bringing back a price war era for two shipping competitors. A Wall Street Journal report says FedEx and UPS are ramping up a price war. Smaller size businesses are getting discounts now during tighter competition, and other delivery services such as the U.S. Postal Service, Amazon's own delivery, and Walmart's same-day delivery service means more pricing strategies for FedEx and UPS. Well, some streaming services are seeing an uptick in users pausing their subscriptions instead of canceling altogether. Subscription pausers tend to take a break from a certain service until new episodes of their favorite shows arrive. While the trend is driving some companies to ensure they have content to keep customers interested year-round, others like Hulu play into subscription pausing by giving users an option to cancel the service for a number of weeks. Well, as the name of the holiday implies, Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks. But the cost of turkeys this year may be something customers aren't so thankful for. Fox News' Ted Lindner investigates.
As the countdown to Thanksgiving ticks louder, many savvy shoppers have their mind on one thing: how much this year's turkey is going to cost them. Well, a new study from personal finance company Finance Buzz finds the average price of turkey has gone down 12% from last year. Costs can still vary from state to state and store to store.
One of the things that we're headed for this fall for Thanksgiving is less turkey production.
David Anderson, agricultural economics professor at Texas A&M University, says an overall lack of demand for turkey meat is resulting in fewer birds being raised.
Turkeys have been unprofitable to produce, and so we've cut production.
Stubborn inflation and recent bouts of bird flu aren't helping either.
That's really cut our supplies.
Anderson says these factors have been compounding over time to possibly impact supplies.
If we look at the whole birds, what we're actually looking for that roast turkey, we've got fewer in storage than we did last year. We might expect some higher prices, even though lately prices have been much lower than a year ago.
And because more Americans are also skipping out on turkey for other holiday meals like Christmas, it may lead to further reductions in turkey production in the future.
That's where we see some shifting to, say, prime rib or a standing rib roast.
Meanwhile, the Finance Buzz study finds states with the most expensive turkey prices include Hawaii, Alaska, and California, while Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Mississippi have the least expensive turkeys. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 7:44 on this Tuesday morning, and we're going to the fog tracker. And I just took our camera in downtown Pittsburgh and swung it around, and it's one of those interesting situations. We're picking up dense fog around the Pittsburgh area and up toward Girard, and Pittsburgh itself reporting just under 2 miles of visibility. But after spinning the camera all the way around, you can't see it from the downtown camera, but at least according to the fog tracker, it is there. So that's including stretches of 69. So you do need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams, and just watch out for this patchy, dense fog. So like I said, even though our camera isn't picking it up, it's being picked up on the fog tracker. It's being reported by the monitoring station in Pittsburgh, so do keep that in mind. It's part of that band, again, stretching from Iola all the way down to Mount Vernon and Cassville, where we've had some patchy fog throughout the morning hours. Once we get through the fog, we're looking at mostly clear skies to start, partly cloudy by about the noon hour out there. Southeast winds gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. Clouds thicken up quickly, though. By late afternoon, we are mostly cloudy, and as we head into the evening, say 5, 6 o'clock, we're just plain old cloudy. Now, again, the clouds will trap in some of this warmer air. We're going to be above normal today. Because of that, we're going to be above normal tonight. Many of us into the 50s overnight, when we should be about 39. Then tomorrow morning, by 3 a.m. or so, we're looking at Yates Center, Fredonia, Howard, Sedan, points to the west, with showers and thunderstorms. By 5 a.m., you can see this line approaching Chanute, just to the west of Parsons, getting into Coffeyville and Bartlesville. By 8 o'clock in the morning, that first line has rolled through and is now crossing over to the I-49 corridor on the Missouri side, with a few additional scattered showers and storms possible back behind that. By 10 a.m., the bulk of the activity now on the Missouri side, or roughly from the 69 corridor and points to the east. And then by noon, the one thing that hasn't changed in all this is by about noon, 1 o'clock, most of this is on its way out of here with just a few stray showers possible after that. The good news is no severe weather is expected, and the even better news is, as you saw in Future Track, we're looking at a bit more widespread rain chances than what we were seeing 24 hours ago. So that's what we say, a lot can change in a simple day, and that's what's taking place. We'll eventually have, by late Wednesday, skies clearing from west to east, and we're going to have a pretty fall-like Thursday. Quick look at temperatures. Clear skies in Joplin. 47. Wind is light and variable at about 3 miles an hour. Up north, again, closer to normal, low 40s. Should be about 39 or so, upper 30s at least. And then down south, much warmer, mid and upper 40s out there. Patchy fog, what we do have out there, should begin to clear out by 8, 9 at the latest. Mostly clear through the morning and into the low 60s by 11 a.m. Highs today, again, above normal, upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s. And that puts us in the upper 40s and low 50s tonight because of the clouds keeping in some of that warmer air. Normal temperatures Wednesday and Thursday, which also means normal lows into the upper 30s. Above normal Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. And then we have rain chances increasing at the beginning of next week ahead of an Arctic air mass. Now, thankfully, this is not an Arctic blast, but it is going to get cold, and our temperatures will drop below normal as we head into the middle of next week. Overnight lows, upper 20s and low 30s. Afternoon highs, upper 40s and low 50s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, Chicago man has a lot of time to make up after reuniting with his long-lost mother several years ago. He now helps her run her bakery.
But as John Garcia explains, duo shared a sweet connection prior to discovering their blood connection.
Oh, hilarious. There's a lot of laughter coming from the kitchen at Give Me Some Sugar Bakery these days. It's the kind of laughter that is even more special because it's being shared by family. Lamar Hunter and Lenore Lindsay are mother and son, though they only discovered that a couple of years ago.
It's the most joyful story and time of my life that in my senior years that all of this has come together.
Lindsay was 17 years old when she gave up her newborn son for adoption. Hunter was 35 when he discovered he was adopted and years later became curious to meet his birth mother, so he submitted results for genetic testing. Turns out they lived in the same South Shore neighborhood, and he was a regular customer at the bakery she owned.
It's been a great experience. It further strengthens my faith.
Lindsay believes God brought them together when she discovered the relationship. She was facing a health crisis, which led Hunter, who had no prior baking experience, to take over the bakery. These days, he says he's especially proud of his pound cake. And now that his mom's health is better, they often work together.
You can't make up for time and days gone by. You know, what you can do is properly utilize the time that you have.
Hunter recently also met the sister he never knew and a whole extended family. Hunter has 4 kids of his own. They've been living in the same neighborhood their whole lives, never knowing they were related.
When I called him, that connection was so immediate. I can't even explain it. It was just like everything in my heart just broke open.
Well, Hunter is planning to keep the bakery in the family.
And he says once he retires, he wants to pass it along to one of his children. Certainly a sweet story.
Absolutely.
Absolutely incredible and great for them to be able to reunite. And you are reuniting with fog across the area. If you didn't get to meet any yesterday, it might be today. Fog tracker showing we still have that line from Iola, Girard, Pittsburgh, in between Carthage and Joplin, then back down to Monette, Mount Vernon, and Cassville. We have some patchy fog out there, and around the Crawford County area in Pittsburgh reporting some dense fog. It's parts of 160, 126, and 69. So again, low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Distance between you and the car ahead of you. Today, mostly clear to start, partly cloudy by noon, mostly cloudy by the afternoon, and then just straight up cloudy as we go late evening and overnight tonight, and that keeps us a little warmer tonight. Ahead of scattered showers and storms tomorrow morning, working in from west to east. No severe weather. I want to emphasize that with any of this activity, but as you can see on Future Track, a better chance of showers and storms across the area. A few more of us will get rain than what we were looking at yesterday. By 10, the bulk of it on the Missouri side, and the one unchanged thing is by about noon, 1 o'clock, most of this is out of here, and we'll eventually start to have some clearing by late Wednesday into early Thursday morning. We're going to have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Joplin City Council met last night with several items on the agenda, including a possible plan to revitalize the city's Memorial Hall building. Ideas for revitalization include making the building a hub for concerts, community events, and private gatherings. The draw of the revitalization effort could potentially draw audiences from across our region. Students, staff, and community members attended the annual Veterans Day ceremony at the PSU Veterans Memorial. The event featured keynote speaker Major Callie Wheeler B. Kraft, Pitts State President Dan Shipp, and Vice President Kathleen Flannery. Local 6th graders from Pittsburgh Community Middle School and St. Mary's Colgan attended the event as a civics lesson. The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County will provide free Thanksgiving meals to those in need on Thanksgiving Day. The meal will be served from noon to 1 p.m. and their goal is to tackle food insecurity in the community. Anyone can walk in without a reservation and receive a meal. The Salvation Army is also looking for volunteers to help as well.
And we're looking at highs above average, upper 60s, low 70s out there. Winds out of the southeast gusting upwards of 20 to 25, and clouds increasing, going mostly cloudy by the afternoon and just straight up cloudy as we head into the evening and overnight hours. Still breezy as well, back into the upper 40s and low 50s for our overnight lows. Rain chances in the first half of our Wednesday looking pretty good out there. Still breezy. Normal temperatures for a little while though, and then more rain next week. We'll warm up ahead of those rain chances, and then an Arctic air mass moves in. Thankfully not a big hit to the temperatures, but still cold nonetheless. Upper 20s, low 30s by Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Upper 40s, low 50s for highs on Wednesday and Thursday. So it's going to feel cold for sure.
Certainly is. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, piles of crab were seen swarming across a road in Australia's Christmas Island as millions of the crustaceans emerged from their burrows to migrate.
It was expected to be one of the largest migrations in recent years. Christmas Island National Park said it's shaping up to be a bumper year for the red crab migration. It's great advice.
Look at that.
That's a lot of crabs.
That's too much crabs for me.
So how many of them do you think are going to become capitalists and open Krusty Krab restaurants down in Australia?
You know what? That is quite the business plan. I think you should.
I think they're going
to.
They're going to be on it. I'll just kind of supervise.
There you go.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We will be back tomorrow, or no, later today with more news and weather at noon, and tomorrow
we'll
as
be back
well.
tomorrow as well. Have a great rest of your morning.